So you want to follow Jesus. You want to have unconditional love. So explain this to me. Explain this to me. Jesus sacrificed for you so that you could have the abundant life. But your church teaches you that you come in as a sinner, so there's something wrong with you that separates you from him. That's a trauma, just so you know. That's a trauma. That's trauma. That's a definition of trauma, is telling someone that they're wrong in order to get love. That is the definition of trauma. So, just stick with me. Jesus already died for your sins. That's what you preach every Sunday. That's what you go to a church to listen to. So if you feel like you need to be redeemed from something and come back to love, okay. Why can't you allow yourself to live in restoration? Why can't you allow yourself to go live in the abundant life? Why do you need to keep going back to the suffering story? Can someone please explain that to me? Because the life that I've lived, what I've experienced from God, and what I help my clients with when they come out of the confusion because they see how religion gave them this trauma, that they've inherited something wrong with them in order to receive love, where they learn with me that they're connected to God's love no matter what they've done or who they are. But also, their identity is nothing based on the past. So, if you believe that God's redeemed you, and you've repented, can you please go give yourself the abundant life and let God flow through you? Because going back to the suffering story is repeating addiction, it's repeating the past, and that's nothing what Jesus came here for. So, if you're confused, so it's just, can we please move into restoration? Can we please move to abundance? Can you please give yourself the gift that you're allowed to wake up in unconditional love tomorrow and you don't just restart as a sinner? And if that's what the Bible's teaching you, and they're saying it's biblical, the Bible's being taught wrong. The Bible's being taught with manipulation and trauma being the root and shame being the root. And you're allowed to question it and observe it and go, okay, I've been told these things, but I don't want to, no one's going to blame you. God is not going to blame you if you don't want to live in shame anymore. Okay? Telling a child that they're a sinner, telling a child that there's something wrong with them that separates them from God, that is a trauma. And we need that to end. We need that story. That was for fear and control. We're coming into the abundant life where I know for sure my children are never going to be told that there is something wrong with them. They're going to be taught that they are one with God, and they're not going to have to unlearn all of this hoopla of something's wrong with them, right? Look up trauma. Look up Dr. Gabor Mate. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Think for yourself. Don't just take what you've learned from theology classes or church on Sunday. You need to come and ask yourself, what is God speaking through me today? And I want you to just look up Gabor Mate. He's a doctor of trauma. He will tell you that if any programming teaches a child to disconnect from their true self, that there's something wrong with them, you are actually traumatizing. They're going through a traumatization. And I know that there's so many of you that really want to end the trauma in your family. So please be mindful. Please be mindful. There's nothing wrong with your kids. Let them be kids. Let them experience the love of God. Maybe you'll learn something through them. Teach them what's wrong from right. Teach them how to have awareness. Teach them how to have integrity. Teach them to be emotionally regulated. But a church that is not trauma-informed is doing way more damage. You're not teaching them the love of God. You're teaching them that they're separated from God because there's shame. They have to shame themselves in order to receive love, and that's a trauma, and that ends here.